Ah, good old horror movies, and their wonderful decline into crap, garbage, and other shit. Don't get me wrong, I'm a very big fan of horror movies. Been watching them, well, I started on the Twilight Zone back in the 80s, and just kind of progressed from there. Always found a fascination with them. I'm actually so desensitized to them now that they're more like comedy movies to me. I just laugh at how hard they try to scare people. Unfortunately, horror movies have taken an interesting and unfortunate turn sideways. They no longer seem to be about scaring people, it seems to be more about grossing people out. And I hate to say it, but the idea of a horror movie was to touch or twist the idea of something to the point that it actually invoked a reaction on an internal level, on an introspective level. Gross out films like Hostel and Hostel 2, which is even worse, in my personal opinion, do not belong in cinema. These are borderline. They're crap. Let's be honest with you. They're just crap films. They're crap for talk. I don't understand why someone would waste their time making these things. Like, what happened to the good old day of storytelling? Now, by no account, you can't call something like Nightmare on Elm Street in the same genre or in the same category as a film like Star Wars in terms of quality or anything else. But at least Nightmare on Elm Street had some character to it. The villain was compelling. It was interesting. They were definitely not the best films ever made, by no stretch of anyone's imagination. But they at least had character. Stuff like Hostel is just a teen movie with a bunch of fucking gore. Who the hell wants to see another teen movie? Seriously, teen movies have been done over and over and over again. Basically, Hostel is Final Destination without the storyline and more blood. And at least Final Destination, in its childish and pathetic nature, had a storyline to it and had an interesting concept to it. It wasn't just a bunch of people being dragged down into a room, tied up, cut up, and spraying 10 gallons of fake blood all over the fucking walls. I'm sorry, but the only reaction you achieved to get from me is a sense of disgust and an inability to make quality films. This reminds me of the really, in my personal opinion, horrible part of the slasher films. And slasher films in general were horrible. None of them were, by any stretch of the imagination, good. But for good B movies, for a cheap night of popcorn and cheap, this modern horror crap isn't even fun. You get people turning away from the screen not because they're scared, but because they're trying to hold it with giggles and laughs, and the occasional squeal out of someone watching it with you. The slasher films were actually kind of fun. What they ate for dinner. It's an unfortunate state of affairs. Saw, by comparison to Hostel, at least has a storyline to it, and has some compelling characters to it. There's some reason to it, there's some logic to it. If this is the way horror films are going, I think I'm gonna find a new genre of film to enjoy. I don't know. Maybe the Teletubbies have something to offer. God knows it's more intelligent than Hostel. And that's a scary thought.